Chris Brown and Rihanna, not a great couple. Not ideal, but the way that relationship was, I see a lot with me and the Seattle Mariners, and more importantly, between the Seattle Mariners and their own fans. Like, one moment, this team is fun. They have several fun, good players. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Andres Munoz blowing 100 out of the bullpen, Brian Wu. They literally have a pitcher named Wu. This team is fun, but they always fall back, not fully reaching their potential, and just choose to let Houston abuse them. Damn, I wasn't even thinking about the Chris Brown Rihanna thing anymore when I said that. But yeah, this proves my point. It's very toxic, but there's a little bit different of a feeling around this team right now. And the toxic vibes may be on the way out. So thank you for being here, subscribed or not. And if you haven't joined the 49% Elite Humans, consider hitting that button if you enjoy the videos, as the Mariners made the postseason in 2022 for the first time in 21 years. There were children who were born and not only turned old enough to vote, but to also legally drink in the years between Mariners postseason appearances. That is very sad, but things really did seem to be shifting in 2022. And then they lost to the Astros in the most painful way imaginable. Yordan Alvarez hits a ball to San Antonio, and the Astros sweep the Mariners, who failed to score a single time in 18 innings in Game 3. One of the most cruel things I have ever seen a fan base go through, having their first playoff home game in over 2 decades on their feet for pretty much the entire thing, ready to explode, only for nothing to happen. That sounds like it could be a description for something very different, but the point is, it was the teasing of the frickin' century. Like, cruel. And then the offense decided to fail arguably the best pitching staff in baseball for 2 years in a row. The antithesis of the Arizona D-bags. If the Mariners offense was just slightly better, they would have made the playoffs. But no, they missed by 1 game in 2023, by 2 games in 2024, and just before you say they're about to miss by 3 in 2025, I'm not saying I full-on saw the script. I don't have access to it, but I think I caught a glimpse of it. I think I caught something I wasn't supposed to see. I'm not fully sure. Time will tell if what I saw was legit, because you know how leaks can get. They can be fake. AI makes things more complicated. Who knows what's real anymore? But I think the Mariners are on a little bit different energy this year. There have been multiple stages of how I've felt with the Mariners in 2025, but mainly I was just kind of down on them, especially when the Astros got hot. I was like, okay, rip. The hope was fun while it lasted. But recent developments have changed that a lot. Like, the hope is back. Obviously, just in a general sense, this team has some special things about it. And notably, it comes from where they needed improvements the most. The offense. Cal Raleigh. Dude has been insane. Bro can't sneeze without hitting a home run. For anyone to hit as many bombs as he has is impressive. Now make it a catcher where you're constantly kneeling, catching 100-mile-an-hour pitches and 93-mile-an-hour sliders, trying to hold base runners, throw them out, call a good game, make sure your signs aren't getting stolen. Yeah, having all that to worry about. And then hitting like an MVP candidate as a switch hitter, mind you, doing that anyway, beyond just all the stuff you got to do as a catcher. Like, I feel this doesn't get credited enough. Maybe it does, but it's one of those things where it's so amazing. However much credit Cal Raleigh is getting, I already know he deserves more. Oh, and he also has Rocky IV on his Mount Rushmore of movies. I already like Cal Raleigh, but yeah, that take makes me want a full-on campaign for him to win MVP. Julio Rodriguez, a lot of people have been down on him, rightfully so. His offense hasn't been fully as advertised, and this has been a thing for a few years now. He just isn't the offensive monster people expected. But first things first, he's only 24 years old. Still so much left for him to improve. But even if this is who Julio Rodriguez is, I still love him as a player. He's not a bad hitter. He's solid, has pop, plays elite defense in center field, and is just electric all around. Randy Arozarena is probably my favorite player on the Mariners. I've loved him since he was a Ray, and that hasn't changed in Seattle. He's awesome. Random side note that I found too weird to ignore, Randy also has the most hit by pitches, forget just on the Mariners, in all of baseball this year. Don't know what that's all about, but my first thought is the pitchers who have collectively combined for those 20 hit by pitches should be fined an undisclosed amount. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but we can't be having that. Seriously though, why so many? He also led all of baseball with this last year. He got hit 22 times last year and has gotten hit 20 times this year. A lot of it is an analytical thing. Like, teams probably like to pitch inside to Randy because maybe that's where his weak point is, in the zone, and naturally when you miss your spot, it will hit him, especially considering his batting stance is relatively close to the plate. whatever. Either way, he's awesome. The offense overall has been a lot better than years past. It's not anything that insane, but it's a top 10 offense, and add that with a top 10 pitching staff, you have a good team that really looks like they're different. Like, they mean business. I want to go back to a month ago when the Mariners got swept by the Yankees. They got whooped in game 1, scored more in game 2, but the pitching still gave up 9 runs. And then the Yankees stole their signs in game 3, legally, not illegally. It was fair, but they caught something on Munoz, who's been lights out this year, and because of that, they were able to put up a big rally, tying the game in the 9th and walking it off in the 10th. So they get swept, are only 3 games over 500 now, 7 games back of the Astros, and now you got to stay on the road and face a first-place Detroit Tigers team. All of Houston probably saw all of this unfolding at the time and went,
good luck.
And, well, they fully embraced the challenge. They'd go into Detroit, the last series before the All-Star break, and beat the frickin' doors off the Tigers. Tarek Skubal started the first game. They scored 12 runs. Not all off of him. That'd be wild. But a big chunk were off of Skubal in game 1. 15 runs in game 2, another 8 in game 3. 5 of those runs in the 8th and 9th inning off the Tigers bullpen. The Seamen were not afraid of the Tigers. That couldn't have been clearer. Back home they go to face the Astros now to start the second half of the season, and they treated them just like the Tigers. 6-1 win, and then another win in game 2, but in a much less comfortable way. This game was back and forth. Mariners were up 4-1. Astros scored 4 straight. But the Mariners rallied, tying the game in the 8th, tying the game again in the 10th, and then winning it in the 11th. They did finally get whooped in the series finale, which, whatever, you still won the series, but then they lose 2 of 3 from the Brewers, scoring a total of 3 runs in that entire series. Follow that up with a series split to the Angels, which isn't ideal, and then a series loss to the A's, also not ideal. That sucks. But here's what doesn't suck. The fact that the Mariners general manager, Jerry Dipoto, isn't afraid of making moves. During that Angels series, they traded for Josh Naylor from the D-backs. Naylor's a guy who I feel like has been linked to the Mariners for a while now, like even before he got traded to Arizona, but yeah, he got traded there instead. But with the D-bags being bad, now is another shot to get him, and they did. And right after the A's series, they made an even bigger trade with the D-bags for a guy they used to have, Eugenio Suarez. So it was kind of funny. Like, you let Suarez go a couple years ago because you didn't want to pay him just to get him back, but you have to give up assets now to make it happen instead of just money. Whatever. But first things first with Josh Naylor. Great move. He's a good hitter. I feel like any team in a postseason race can use the psycho vibes Naylor brings. But who knew? They were also getting a fatter Ricky Henderson. Holy crap. Not only has he put on a Mariners uniform and started hitting better, although he was already having a good offensive season in Arizona, he's gotten even better with the bat, and he's also, for whatever reason, started stealing bases every time he gets on first. He had 11 stolen bases total in 93 games with the D-bags. He's already matched that in 15 games with the Mariners. And it's fascinating because looking at the guy, you wouldn't think he's out here swiping bags. And it's not like he's somehow fast with his build. No. This is one of those times where judging a book by its cover is right. His speed is exactly what it looks like. But then again, you don't judge a book by its cover because Naylor, despite being statistically the 16th slowest player in baseball, finds a way to steal bases almost as effectively as Trey Turner, who is one of the fastest. So what he's doing is getting good leads off of first base. He's good at picking up on pitchers' tendencies and getting a good jump so he can be safe at second. So he doesn't have to be that fast. He's just using that other stuff to get ahead. It's incredible. And I love the idea that the Mariners saw this and were just like, maybe do that more. And Naylor was like, okay. And as a result, he's on pace to like triple his stolen bases total in Arizona. Suarez hasn't gotten going yet in his return to Seattle, but that's got to be inevitable with how unconscious he was as a D-bag. And the team overall has caught fire lately after making those trades. They go home to face the Rangers and whoop them 6-0. And after taking an early 1-0 lead in game 2, the Rangers put up some runs off Logan Gilbert in the 3rd. Josh Naylor smacks home a double to make it a 1-run game, but skipped in the 9th. And bad news, they're still down. The good news, it's still only by a run. So when Dominic Canzone, who's been really good this year, by the way, smacks a single followed by a J.P. Crawford home run to right field, the Mariners win the game. Crawford being one of the more underrated players in baseball, strictly in terms of aura. This was a 4-game series between the Mariners and Rangers, and they did lose 1 game in it, but even that game was just barely lost. Down 2-0 in the 6th inning, Mariners rally for 2. Game's still 2-2 in the 10th inning. Rangers get 2. Randy Arozarena says, I can get 2 on 1 swing, but 2 more Rangers runs in the 11th were enough for them to win. But after home run derby on Sunday, 5 home runs being hit between both teams, 3 from the Mariners, all off of Jacob deGrom. That's a big series win, taking 3 of 4 from a team in your own division. Update, they haven't slowed down. This was a long homestand. Home for 4 against the Rangers, 3 against the White Sox, and then 3 more against the Rays, both teams who they're obviously better than. And the Mariners have since done exactly what they should be doing against teams that they're better than. Brian Wu dominated in the first game. He actually gave a home run up to the second hitter of the game, but it was just to give the Sox false hope. He goes 7 innings, 9 strikeouts, only gave up 1 more hit after that. Meanwhile, Dominic Canzone goes deep. Eugenio Suarez hits his first home run back as a Mariner. Josh Naylor drives one out and does it again his first at-bat the next game. Bro hit this to Tacoma. Julio smacks one out for 3 in the next inning. Mariners scores 7 in the first 2 innings of this game. White Sox did also put up some runs.
That is not enough.
Randy opens up the scoring in game 3 with another homer. If you're starting to really notice, yeah, the Mariners hit a lot of home runs. They're third in all of baseball in total home runs, which shouldn't seem like, it doesn't seem right with how much of a pitcher's ballpark they seem to have. But no, Cal Raleigh's power and love for Rocky IV has spread throughout the clubhouse. Everyone's going deep, but this was pretty much it for the offense in this game. The White Sox followed this up with 2 separate home runs to tie the game. It eventually goes to extra innings. White Sox take the lead on a wild pitch, but in the bottom of the inning, Miles Mastrobuoni bunts the runner over to third, and it was at this moment when the White Sox realized, oh, right, why are we playing so competently? We're supposed to be the bad team, chucking it away to tie the game. I just want to take a second to appreciate some of these Mariners' names, by the way. Miles Mastrobuoni and Dominic Canzone sound like a couple buddies who own an Italian restaurant. They should open one up. I'd go yesterday. Canzone's the one who walks it off, this time in the 11th inning. Mariners sweep Chicago. Next up, the Rays, who'd instantly take a 1-0 lead on a Brandon Lau home run and make it 2-0 eventually on a Junior Caminero homer. Those 2 homers aren't ideal. Like, giving up home runs is like, that's bad. Pitchers don't want to do that. But other than those homers, Luis Castillo had a good outing. The Mariners offense just wasn't getting anything going. Well, that's when Cal Raleigh told the Rays to go themselves. One swing puts them ahead and 3 outs away from a win. What was bro pointing at? It's always funny when pitchers point up to the sky like, that's gonna be caught. Yeah, maybe by a fan. 3 Matt Brosh strikeouts later, Mariners win the ball game. Shout out to the Mariners bullpen, by the way. They have the best closer in baseball, Andres Munoz, in his 1.37 ERA. And while they're at it, oh yeah, Matt Brosh in his 1.16 ERA. Gabe Spires has been really good as their lefty back there. Shout out Edward Bazardo. Little iTALK lore. It's so random. I used to play Fortnite with this guy years back when he was in the Red Sox minor league system. So it's really cool seeing how far he's come. Mariners have a good bullpen, and it also helped them out the rest of this series. Ichiro Suzuki getting his number retired with the Mariners before game 2 also 1,000% willed them to whoop some ass. Like, that's pretty indisputable. Brandon Lau also lit off this game with a home run, but then Julio said, I can do that too. Cal Raleigh does the same. They both go deep again, and then Julio's like, why not another? He hits this one on a line, and it somehow gets over the wall. 6-1 Mariners. Look at Julio, man. Always smiling, having the greatest time imaginable. Junior Caminero also hits another home run in this series. 3-run shot at 6-4, but the Mariner bullpen, including Bazardo, Spire, and Munoz, shut things down. Series win, chance for a sweep on Sunday, and that's exactly what Cal Raleigh wanted. He hits his 3rd home run of the series in the first inning, his 45th home run of the year. That leads the league. Again, this man is a catcher, and he's doing all of this. It's insane. Suarez drives in 2 more. Ray's crawling back. Naylor does his thing again. A laser and a right, his 4th Mariners home run. Dominic Canzone drives in more insurance for Matt Brosh to come in and throw a shutdown inning again. Mariners keep on rolling. They keep on dancing. T-Mobile Park keeps on rocking. And as of the time of this video, the Seattle Mariners are a half game back of the Houston Astros. Maybe I'm just buying in a false hope, but I'm willing to go down with the ship. The Mariners feel different right now. Let me know your thoughts, and thank you for watching. Love you. Bye.